And so, they went off and did their thing, and then Elon left. And I think that, that must be frustrating to him. He put $100 million in, and to do open AI, which you would assume means it's going to be open source and ethical.
Yeah.
And then they keep on going. They become the biggest app in the world. And, the original investors are kind of like, okay.
Right.
That's not cool. And so, Twitter should start their own AI. They have some of the best training data in the world. It's just the most accurate real-time language use in humanity. So they're probably going to come out with something cool. And then you've got a bunch of other folks. There's a open alternative ChatGPT called Colossal, which is decent, but they're still reliant on some small parts of ChatGPT. But yeah, I mean, it's with what we're seeing, there's more than meets. There's a lot of business drama happening behind the scenes, with the Substack stuff, with the OpenAI stuff, and I think that I just don't buy into the whole secrecy is going to save us mentality, and I don't see OpenAI like saying, oh, okay, at this point we now believe this to be safe enough to release. I just think that they're going to keep hoarding, and when really they should give us a path to when if we're going to be relying on them. They're getting so powerful so fast.
Yeah.
They need to give us a path to when it's going to be transparent, and also why are you doing all this bias. And I think there should be rev share baked in for humanity, because why not rather than have the government fund UBI, why not have the billion-dollar tech companies that are taking everybody's data give everybody a little rev share on it? If they're using your data and it's actually being processed and used on a regular basis, give everybody a little bit. You can still be rich. You can still, become a huge company. I in my opinion,
that's your mindset.
Yeah. But to be honest, it's not just me. Like, that is what is going to be smart for them. Like, Elon even is doing monetization on Twitter. They're working on it. They're trying to do encrypted messages, apparently. Ultimately what's best for the community is, I think, better for the corporation long term, unless they want to fight this war, which they're going to, and maybe they do, but...
Fight this war.
This war for, to be the top AI platform.
I'm sure that's what they're doing. Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense, but it's a very good point. Like, where are you getting the data that's allowing you to do this? It's basically everyone's data.
It's everyone's data.
Yeah.
It's just the internet.
Yeah.
And who owns the internet? No one owns, because the internet is an open source, decentralized protocol.
But it seems to me like this is the first rumblings of cyborgs. This is the first steps that is going to force our integration. Because if this does become something you can access instantaneously in your mind, with some thing that you put on your head or something you put in your head, I don't see people not taking that.
What does that look like in your visual system? So you integrate Neuralink, and it's in there, and because we kind of have our internal eye, mind's eye. I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, what we see when we dream.
Yeah,
it's something. Our eyes aren't open, but we're seeing.
Right.
So what would that even feel like to search the internet through your brain? Like, are you seeing something? Like, do you feel it?
I think there's probably going to be multiple versions of it. It's going to get better and better, which is why you don't want to be an early adopter, but maybe you do, because those are the people that are going to be able to get access to the second version of this and the third, and it's going to become progressively more and more powerful. I really wonder, like, when we're talking about aliens, we're talking about these creatures, maybe that's a natural course of progression for intelligent life. That intelligent life eventually realizes there's limits to biological evolution, but technology allows you to jumpstart and bypass all those limitations radically, quickly, where the versions that are created by human beings, once AI is able to take over and make better versions of it, it's going to make a better version of itself. It's going to continue to evolve to the point where, I mean, you really become something that's completely different than a human being.
Yeah, and it's a question of, do I want to live? That's the question that we're going to get faced with. Like, do you want to keep living or do you want to die? And you got to pick if you're going to integrate or not if you want to live, because our bodies just can't handle it.
Do you want to be in a Norman Rockwell painting or do you want to be in a Stanley Kubrick movie? Yeah. How do you want to live?
And like for what you were saying about, where is the disclosure process taking us? Like, I think that there is real possibility for social unrest because and the global economy. This is most likely the reason that they're taking their time letting information out, because religion, the global energy economy. I mean, if these things are real and they're powered by some, propulsion system with a new form of energy that is, near limitless or whatever it is, then what does that do for the economy?
Yeah.
Suddenly, all the top largest energy companies in the world are just irrelevant.
Right.
And then the religious stuff is like a whole other level of the equation. But like people will have concern.
And they should.
Because
we might not be people very much longer.
But there's a cool book called AD, After Disclosure, which kind of does a thought experiment about what would happen. So it's a fiction book about what happens if, the government comes out and has an official press conference and tells us what's going on. And it's cool. It's by a really smart researcher.
And how does it play out?
I didn't read it. But I love Richard Dolan, who wrote it, and I've watched like hundreds of hours of his podcast. He's a great researcher. I need to read it. Maybe I'll listen to it. Yeah.